Hello YouTube, welcome back to Fix It With Beer. We're in the bathroom today. We got a little bit of an interesting project going on. Brought to you by AC and the boys up there in Golden. Thanks for the banquet. We know we got to get a project started off right. So today, we're going to work on replacing the faucet on this sink. It's a little bit of a frustrating project because I went through and did this sink a few years ago, and then I replaced the valve, and what we've got, I don't know how well you can see it right there, but if I go and push this handle too far to the off position, it just continues to run. This time just go ahead and put a new faucet in here. The interesting thing about this, and I'll bring you in here a little bit, but when we bought this house, this was a pedestal type sink, and it was really pretty, by the way. I'll show you some pictures, picture attached. Anyway, so we took this piece of furniture and we cut a hole out of the top and dropped a sink in it and made it into kind of a piece of sink cabinet kind of deal. First things first, we got to go and clean out the cabinet on the bottom here, and we'll get that done, and then I'll bring you underneath and show you what we're doing. All right, you see what we got going on. If you push the handle too far, it starts dripping, and it's a healthy drip too. It's not a little one. Anyway, you come down here underneath. So I cut out the back of the cabinet, as you can see, and then hooked into the back, and you got the sink is right up there. We're just gonna disconnect those water cables up there. We'll disconnect the tailpiece. We're gonna pull that whole sink out. We'll take it out to the garage and see what's going on. So let me get a couple of tools here and we'll get going. All right, guys. I think you'll be able to see what I'm trying to do here. Basically, I'm just gonna disconnect these two water lines. Let's go ahead and turn them off first. Turn them both to off, obviously. There we go. When I replaced this, I put those new quarter turn, and they're just, I think they're just shark bites. But these just come off, spin them to the left, you're gonna get a little bit of water. Probably gonna drip right on my phone there where I'm taping with, but we'll see. Oh, there comes the water. I got the light, but not the phone. So we're gonna get the cold water side over here. And it's a little tight squeeze in here. And again, guys, I'm not a professional plumber. I'm just having a cold beer on a Saturday afternoon, trying to get this new faucet in, so I'm gonna do it left-handed, I guess. And you'll see from me that that's not super coordinated looking, but we'll see if we can get this out of here. And this one's gonna drop right on my face. There it is, right on my head. Not on the phone though. Next up, we're going to take this tailpiece out from the drain line here, and I think you'll be able to see it like this. Basically, I'm gonna try to just kind of unscrew it from here. Should all be hand tight. This kind of just comes off, and it hopefully doesn't make too big of a mess. I guess we're gonna have to undo this one too, so it'll slide down. This is just a little kind of, again, I'm not a plumber, but that's just a little slip fitting deal. We'll leave that on, and I think we're gonna be able to just pop this sink out. Yeah, I think we got it. We're gonna take this out to the garage. We'll get it set up so you can see the underside. When we take this thing apart, you can see the underside when we put it back together. Make it real easy if you want to try this at your house. We made it out here to the garage. Got my wife's favorite car right here in the background. You guys will recognize that from the other videos. You want to learn some funny stuff and interesting stuff about enclaves? Go check out those other videos. It's pretty funny. Anyway, we're sitting here. We got the sink. It's just sitting on top of the trash can. I'm going to flip this thing over here and we'll get a look at the bottom side. It's just a couple of big nuts on the bottom of the valve stem cover, and we'll just get those taken off, and we should be able to pop this thing out real quick. But let me get it flipped over and I'll get you right back here. Basically, you got these little clippies right here. I don't remember exactly how they work, but I bet you I can figure out a way to break them and force them off. I think they're just, well, let's take this guy off first, and then maybe we can see it a little better. I'm hoping these just kind of come right off. Smart guy would have put some WD-40 on these things beforehand. Let's see if we can. There it goes. See if this one comes off as easy. There we go. Okay, let's see if we can figure this clip out here. Looks like maybe it goes like this. There it goes. There. See how that clip works, guys? You go at the bottom, it's got the little tabs right there. Listen, guys, I watch YouTube videos to learn how to fix stuff just like you do. And Everyone needs to make sure they show exactly how the clips work, because that's the part that's always tricky. There's almost always a trick to them. So I'm trying to show you on this one. If you get in here close, you got to reach on the bottom of this, squeeze it, and then it'll pop up, and then you just pull it out. See if we can make it work a little smoother on this one. All right, see if we can get this clip. There it goes. It just popped right up. And then if you kind of get some leverage, pull it from back this way. There we go. It's got the little nut here for the drain tail piece, and it's just kind of been out of the way. That's got to come off anyway. Now I'm guessing if I take my adjustable wrench here, croissant, and oh, it looks like it's got a little corrosion on it. We'll see how that one goes. Oh, it came off. I guess we're gonna have to get that off so that we can get the nut all the way off so it'll pop through. There we go. That's just trash. We're using the trash can, right? Throw it right in the trash. So now we should be able to get this guy off. There we go. And that's just the little keeper piece, and that just kind of becomes trash. Now these valves, I guess we have to flip the thing back over and attack them from the other side. Now these guys, I think we're going to have to unscrew from the top. This brand, which shall remain nameless, it's got plastic parts all on the inside of it, and it really kind of made it not good. So that's trash. There's another little keeper ring. If you just get pliers on it, it just comes off. See the little keeper ring that goes on the threads, and then this guy comes off. Should be able to just pull this through the bottom at this point. There we go. So there's that valve piece, and you know, it's junk. There's the other side, just comes off just like the other one. Same story on this side. Keeper ring with the pliers. This little guy comes off, and then everything will come through the bottom, and it's trash. We got some juice soaking on a little bit of this hard to get off stuff. Let's go ahead and get started looking at what we're doing here. We've got our Delta Silverton. So you're gonna see this has got kind of the same look, kind of that dark bronze or oil rubbed bronze or whatever you want to call it. But looks like we got a kit here. We got some directions, probably won't need those. And then looks like we got a faucet and some gasket. It's got kind of a screw-on trim, kind of like the other one. The little tabs like we had on the other one for the little Y kit for the hot water mixing valve. Looks like we got a valve there and a valve there. Let's see. I'm guessing this must be what, handles. Looks like there's an Allen key down there, probably for some set screws if I were to guess. There's another handle. How do you know what's hot and how do you know what's cold? I don't know. We got a new tailpiece kit here. I'm guessing that the color on this one is going to be the same as the color on the old one. Don't tell fix it with coffee, but I don't know that we're going to change that tailpiece. We may just leave it like it is. All right, guys. Our plumber's putty was bad. It had been sitting too long, so I had to run up to my favorite store and get some of that. I got a couple new water lines. I had to catch a ride up there. So anyway, we're back here. I'm just prepping these valves. Change of plans. We're not going to do this whole thing out here because I can't do it upside down and it's not going to hold in right. And it's going to work better for me to show you in place anyway. So I'm just getting these valve stems ready. You undo this little screw, or this little bolt here, nut, whatever we want to call that. And then the big washer goes off. I don't know. I like to put a little tape on here, a little Teflon tape, just to make sure it kind of seals up nice and good. I don't know about you. I like to put it on, wrapping it the same way that it's going to tighten up. So, you know, to the right or clockwise, if you will. We're just going to put a little bit on that one. We're going to do the same thing on this one. Anyway, I'm just gonna flop the sink back in here. I'll be back with you in just a few minutes, and we'll plop these valves in, get this thing hooked up and running. All right, campers, we're back. We got the sink back in place. We got our directions, like we need those. But we know we got this little guy right here, and the way that shows in the picture, short tube towards the center. So we're gonna go short tube towards the center, just like it's supposed to be. Short tube towards the center with the little stopper pointed towards the center. We're gonna do the same thing on the other side. Short tube towards the center with the rubber gasket there going to the middle. We're under the sink now. So what it says for us to do here is it says put the washer in first and then put this guy in and hand tighten it, right? So we're just gonna go on like this, and we're gonna go on like this, and then we're gonna hand tighten that guy, and then it says come back and set it into place with those screws. So we're hand tight. We'll come back and get those set screws down here in a second. I don't know, there's probably some plumber out there who knows a way easier way to do this, but he's probably not fixing it with beer like I am. Gotta center it up in there as best we can. Keep the short tube to the inside like it calls for. Yeah, it's kind of easier to hold that water stem there and adjust. Okay, so we're to the center. All right, I'm buying all that. I don't know if you guys are, but I am. Okay guys, we've got the handles in here, and we're gonna go and just kind of rotate these things on. They just push down, guys. Just there's a little rubber gasket in here. You don't want to lose that. I kind of pulled it out and I yanked it out. It just fits in there nice and snug. But what you do, oh, we lost the whole inside of the thing here. You just get that thing on there. You got to kind of rotate it a little bit. You got to get that valve where it closes. Hold on, there you go. There's the closed spot. So you got to rotate it around at the closed spot where it's nice and level. You want it level this way. And then when we go down and tighten the bottom, it'll pick that up. Same thing over here. We'll get this handle on, and we want to get it rotated to right where we want it, and then we'll go set those set screws where it's not going to move. But you make sure that thing's all the way on there and it's straight across, and that these guys are where you want them. You got to kind of eyeball it there, but I think we got it. So remember these set screws I was telling you about. Now that we got those handles placed, let's try to tighten them down just a little bit more. See if it goes here without spinning. You don't want to spin these things around. You don't want to tighten it too tight and break your sink, but you want those handles to be locked down, because there's nothing more frustrating than when those handles aren't lined up just right. So I think we're pretty, oh, that will move just a little bit, but I think we're locked in at this point. Let me double check up there and make sure. Yeah, I think we got it, guys. Let's drop this sink down here, the faucet down here next. Same thing, it's got the little gasket. I'm assuming you guys can just kind of see from there what's happening. That's going to go right there. Little gasket. Now there's a couple. It'd be nice if it was heavy enough to balance in there. A little rubber washer, a little steel washer. The directions are super unclear, but basically I assume you got to get the rubber washer up next to your sink and the steel washer on the bottom. And then you get this really long, you know, super nut thing, I guess. I don't know. It's going to take half an hour to screw that thing on there. I don't know if you can see any of this, but it's just screwing on there. Get it tight or close to tight until the gasket's not seated up on the top. Let me go get that gasket right. And then I'm just going to tighten this thing up so it doesn't move. I guess. Oh, it moved. I'm gonna have to double check it. Could almost use another person up there kind of helping make sure you get all this right. But all right, guys, so I had to go get the socket to get this thing in here because it's just too tight. It's just really a tight squeeze in here. All right, guys, we got some updates here. Went ahead and got the water line kind of started here. We got this one just kind of going in. Installed this. This is real easy. It just snaps on. This is the mixing valve. Essentially, it snaps into the handle up here. Handle here goes into the middle, and then your water lines just attach in. Remember, we put the Teflon tape on there. I did go ahead and get a new set of water lines here. That was just off camera, isn't it? Now you can kind of see it. Anyway, so we're just getting this buttoned up here. We're going to be real close to putting a test on this thing here in a minute. So, I don't know. I like to make sure these things are tight. This is kind of your double make sure you're good. And it's just hard because there's not a lot of room in here. You gotta have kind of a short crescent wrench, I think, to make this work. Don't go too tight and start twisting up that copper because it looked like I twisted that a little bit. Next time I'd probably put this in first and then, hook the water lines up first and then hook these little snap-on connections just so it's not in the way and you can see what you're doing a little better. I don't know, seems like I might be tight enough. We got everything going there. It says on this Delta, what they want you to do is take this little key they give you and take this aerator out. And the first time you turn it on so that you don't, if you got any debris in the line, you don't mess it up. And of course I'm trying to film it and do it with one hand and it just kind of sneaks up in there. All right, guys, I got it out. Wasn't that big of a deal. It just kind of takes two hands to hold it in place and do it. So Delta says turn both of the valves to the on position before you turn on the water. So you can clear out any lines, let it run for a minute. Let's see what happens here. Isn't that interesting? All right, guys, so we got updates. The guy got frustrated here. It has this little tag on it right here. It says for the hot water side. So I put it on the hot water side, had everything all installed, water turned on, and it was not right. But basically, if that's the hot water side, you push to turn the water on. Well, all of ours in our house, we pull to turn the water on. So I had to switch them around. Why don't you put it down there in the comments? Let me know. Do you guys push or pull for your handles like this to get your water? So I re-Teflon taped, took everything apart. It gives me a chance to show you how easy these things snap in like this as we're putting this back together. Oh yeah, but I said I wasn't gonna do that. I said I was gonna hook up the water lines first so they weren't in my way. All right, now we're gonna put these water lines back in like we started to a minute ago. And get these tightened up and we'll maybe get a successful test here. I don't know, I just keep thinking about it. Am I the crazy one for wanting to pull to get my water? As I was telling you, we pull to turn our faucets on. So what Delta wants you to do is pull all the way on and then come under here, turn your water on, so you clear any junk out of there. And then want you to let it run for just a minute, get it going. Okay, success, we got it. So we're gonna put this aerator guy back in here. Again, trying to do this one-handed and see if we can get it. All right, we got the aerator in there. Now, runs a little more reasonably. hot, cold. Now there's a little set screw for those tops. I'm gonna go ahead and put that in. And then we're gonna call this part of it done. I think we are gonna have to do that drain tomorrow so it all matches, because the color is just a little bit off. It's close, but it's a little off. So we'll go ahead and maybe we'll make a second video on that tomorrow. But for right now, we got water back. I'm gonna install this guy too, but since we're gonna put the new tailpiece in, we'll make that all match tomorrow. All right, guys. Hey, thanks for watching part 1, which took way too long. These things always, sometimes they get you. Anyway, we'll talk soon. Good morning. All right, guys, we're back. So we're gonna go and get this tailpiece put in just so we can get this thing done. Just want to put this thing to bed. I got some other stuff I got to get done today. It is the next morning. We're not drinking beer. It's Sunday morning. It's not happening yet, but rest assured I had a couple last night after the soccer game. Here we go. Let me, well, here's the tailpiece right here. You see this? And then we've got our little, you know, the arm connectors and all that. This is the actual arm connector from yesterday's adventure. Throw that away. All right, well, I'll get you inside here in just a second. We'll get this next section done. All right, guys, we're back here underneath the sink. I always like to, when I'm working on a plumbing project, kind of leave everything out after you're done for overnight and just make sure you're not leaking anything. And this is all dry. It's cold, but it's dry. This is all dry. No water leaking out down here or anything like that. So that's good. So first thing we're gonna do is like we did yesterday, see if I can do this one-handed again. Get this old tailpiece out of the sink. So let's get this nut off the bottom here and see if we can get this old tailpiece out and see if we can get to the next part here. I think if I undo this, and then if I go up to the top, I should be able to separate. What I'm hoping is I can separate this tailpiece off the little bottom. Oh, there we go. We got it. We unscrewed that part from the top and the bottom of the sink. And then we get this, and of course we got some junk pull up there. I left my towel outside. Alright, guys, we got this all loosened up here, and I'm able to just kind of slide it a little bit and get it where it lines up right. All kinds of gunk on here, of course, because it's been in the sink for who knows how long. So we're just going to set this all aside, and then we can get the new one going here in just a second. Trying not to make a bigger mess than I've already got. Salvage these two guys off the old one because I think we're going to want them for our new one. Slide that whole thing under there. Slide that under there. Gotta get some paper towels up here and clean up this sinkhole. Let's see, I'm gonna go up to the top and get it cleaned up from up there. Show you what we're doing here. This is the new tailpiece. We're gonna take this, we'll take the stopper out first. Let's just set that aside. We're gonna remove this guy. We're gonna fish this thing up from the bottom. We're actually gonna put little retainer clips on here. These are the saved parts from the old one. I gotta put the screw on part first. This is gonna connect our whole system here when we're done, but for now we just gotta get those on. If we kind of get this up to like this and this, that's just gonna all fit together like this, guys. Gonna get some plumber's putty and get the top in. So I'll bring you up top for that in just a second. Hold on. I've always done this plumber's putty before, but it says in the directions use a silicone, so we're going to use the silicone. We'll do a one-handed silicone job here. Set that aside. See, this guy is just going to come in here. We're going to screw into the bottom of it. We should be able to wipe up the mess pretty good. By the time we push this down, we'd like to see a little bit of squishing around in there, but we're gonna move it around as we get the bottom screwed in here. And so while I'm trying to hold from the top, I'm going to screw this guy in the bottom. You gotta end up with your little arm guy towards the back, so we should be able to get that accomplished. But holding at the top, and then you see what we do is once you get this thing kind of lined up and snug, then we'll tighten that nut with the rubber washer on it. Kind of get us fully set where we want it to be. Tighten this nut up a little bit here. Okay, you really don't need it much more than finger tight, but we'll put the channel lock on it one time. We want to be, arm's got to be facing the back. This little knob right here, can you see that? That's the knob where we're going to put our, you know, our drain up and down thinger in there. And then this guy should just be able to slide right down here like this. This is sliding up, so we might as well take it off. Just hand tight for this, fellas. You don't have to get crazy with it. Get that. And then we'll put the channel lock on this. Alright, we're looking at the top, we're looking at the bottom. So we got this guy, which is taped together. It's the arm and the breakdown guy. We just got to get these in so that we get the stopper set up the way we want it. So if you can kind of see, unscrew this guy. I try to turn you guys just a little bit higher. Maybe see it better if I do it like this. That better? Just gonna unscrew this guy. And then you take the little ball action right here. You got to take this part off. Put your little retainer clip on there so you can screw this all in. And then before you do that, I think you got to put this guy in the bottom of the sink because you're going to catch this. Oh, on this end. You can catch this right here so you can move it up and down. See, I can barely reach it up there, guys. I did it. There we go. Catch that little hole with this guy, and then you can see as you move it up and down that it's working. Just tighten this up. Doesn't have to be crazy tight, guys. Nothing down here has to be crazy tight. This is our little up and down plunger that we're going to use to catch this, and basically it's got a little screw fitting. Going to go on the top there, and then we'll just make the connection through one of these with our little doodad here. So what we're trying to do here, guys, is we got to thread this through here. And we want to get that to a spot where it's going to work with our little clip. We got this little clip right here. Are you guys able to see any of this? Maybe. Basically, you go through like this, and then you pick a hole to go through here. Let's take one in the middle. That way we got some play on either side. And then basically, we've got some play as we move this up and down. We can kind of make sure that we're doing what we need to do. And now I just need a little socket wrench maybe work. Almost got this thing licked. Just got to get this little plastic piece secured. I went and got the socket just because it's easier at this kind of angle. Again, you don't have to do a lot. You just got to get it in its spot. And then this is all working. Not in a bind. Alright guys, here we go. We got that thing adjusted a little bit. Make that thing stay up by tightening the little keeper nut on the ball on the side of the unit, but I think we're in good shape here now. Should be enough flow. Let the silicone dry before we run the water. And we're gonna get this guy cleaned up. We still don't have enough videos for liking and subscribing, but hope this helped you out if you try to do a Delta faucet. I think we're looking pretty good. Have a great day, guys.